In the previous two videos, you have seen how to declare a class, its data members, constructors, and any other methods, as well as how to create an instance of a class, how to invoke any publicly invocable members. As I said, publicly invocable, obviously the question comes then, what are the other type of members? So in C Sharp, class can have members which can have different access specifiers to specify whether these members can be accessed via the instance that you have created, that instance variable or not. So it actually helps you to not reveal some of the members of the class to the outside world, as well as help you to decide which members should be available to the outside world, such as a constructor should be available to the outside world so that we can create an instance of the class by calling the constructor along with new keyword, as well as the methods that we would like to call in order to get the specific details about that particular class's instance, isn't it? So that is why exists something called access specifier of a class and its members, and that is what we are going to talk about in this video. Now, in order to show you different access specifier, what I'm going to do is that I'm not going to keep this class as part of this application itself. Rather, I'm going to create a library application and going to add it into the same solution and put this class code in that library, and we'll try to access it from our console application. So first of all, in this solution, let me add a class library project for which I'm taking class library.NET Framework and then creating a class library, say for example, person library. And this person library, once created, I'm going to move my code, that is person class code, from my console application. So let's cut this code from here and paste it into class1.cs file, which I would like to first of all rename. So here it goes, person.cs, and then here is your person.cs file of the library. There, I'm just going to delete this and paste entirely everything over there and keeping it as it is, as it was there in my previous file, and going to delete this person dot file from my console application right now. Obviously, this is going to throw error in your console application as soon as you try to compile it. Have a look at it. As we try to compile, immediately it shows certain errors, and from the error list window you can figure out program doesn't contain sorry, I think I here it goes, person. Oh, I think by mistake I have deleted program.cs file. So what I'm going to do is that quickly I'm going to add a class file here, or we can take this person class which exists already and let me rename it to program.cs and delete the existing code, right? And put the main function back. So if you have made some kind of mistake like me, you can immediately rectify it by doing this static main, which I think initial version had some arguments with it, and there it goes. So right now, since there is no question of person class, thankfully I'll not get any kind of error, but I forgot the return type. So let's add it into the application. And let's delete this unnecessary line. So this is your application right now. You didn't get any error as such, as because I by mistake deleted the main function itself, so I got it back, and there is no person class whatsoever right now. If there is, that's there in the person library, there is your person class. Now I have kept it as it was there in the previous application, that is the console application. Let me compile this application person library. Right now there is no issue, no error at all. My job is to access now this person class from my console application, and in the main function create an instance of it. In order to do that, from class demo application, first thing you have to add a reference to your current library present in the same solution, which is person library, first of all. And once you have accessed it, you should use here using person library. Look at this. Once I start typing, this name should appear in this console application, but that's not happening. I'm not getting anything, any name from any name like person library from this IntelliSense, and there is a reason for it. I'll talk about it, but first of all, let me forcefully and manually write this name person library because I have added a reference to it after all. And then I try to write person, but I'm not getting anything in the IntelliSense. Now, once again, first I didn't get the name of the library in the IntelliSense. Now I'm not getting the name of the class in the IntelliSense in order to create. And don't try to do that, as because there is a reason. First of all, the person class that you declared in your library was not declared with any kind of access specifier. As I said in my earlier video, any class in C# is by default internal. And what does it mean by that? You can see its effect. Unfortunately, I have no other class actually, and that there is a class, and that one and only class even is internal, means a class which is internally declared inside an application or declared with an internal keyword cannot be accessed with some other application, cannot be accessed from some other application, better to say. So you have to do this, that the person class has to be declared with a public access specifier so that it can be accessed from some other application. So there it goes. Now, since I have declared it with a public access specifier, let me rebuild this library, go back to person library as a class demo console application. Over there, try to write it once again using person library. Now, magically, the name person library appears in the IntelliSense, as because since there was only one class and that class itself was internal, so that means there was no publicly available, or better to say, there was no type in the person library which can be publicly accessed from some other application. That's why the namespace name itself was not appearing. And now, since I have made the class public, now this person library is available as part of the using list. Not only that, now you can also avail the person class. So the importance of declaring any class as public is that if the class is declared with public access specifier, can be accessed from any other application, not only within this application. Second, obviously, if this is the one and only one type, and that's not even declared with public access specifier, even you will not find that name of the library in the usings in the IntelliSense list, as because, as I told you earlier, there is no publicly available type over there. If you would have had some other type in this application, say for example in the person library, I'm adding one more class. It's just a sample class, so I'm giving its name as sample. And if you look at it right now, there is one more class, sample, which is not public once again, but the person class is public. And if I just compile this application, go back to my class demo in the program.cs, I'll find out whether the name appears in the IntelliSense or not. As you can see, the name appears because at least it has got one publicly available type, if not the other, right? So previous case, person was the only type, and that was not public. So first thing is first, the person class cannot be accessed from other applications. Second thing, since it was the only one type and that was itself not public, so simply our IntelliSense was not showing the name, as because since there was no publicly available type. Now, since we have got it, now we can go ahead and create instance of the class as like the previous, using new keyword person, and then you can call the parameterized or the default constructor, whatever you like, right? So this is what is the importance of public access specifier. By default, class is not public in C#. By default, a class is internal. And if you do not mention the type, okay, do not mention the access specifier, it is understood it's a by default internal. Internal classes can be accessed within the library. As for example, this person class I can access from the sample class. Say for example, in that sample class, I have a method which says create, and this will be responsible to create an instance. Look at this, I'm able to access this person class here in order to create the instance of the person class, but that class was not available to the other application, but it is available inside this application and available to any other classes inside this application. So it doesn't matter whether it's a public or internal. That means I can conclude an internal is like public but within the same application, but like private with respect to other applications. So it means you cannot access it from other application. Now some other access specifiers, but with class there is only two access specifiers in C#, public and internal, and you know by this time that you must declare the class with public access specifier to make it accessible from other application, right? Let's talk about the members access specifier in another video.